So, hello, Margot. Oh my goodness, so good to see you. Like, it feels like it's been forever.
Oh, it's kind of been 4 years, which is kind of so weird.
Really that long? That's like no way, like not helpful. But we're just going to record this because we've decided actually we're going to make this kind of a bit of fun and we're going to have a chat because that's kind of what we do about how far Margot has come since we caught up 4 years ago. And what was it all about? Because it's nuts. It's brilliant, but it's nuts, eh?
Yeah.
So bless her. She said, I said, oh, do you fancy just kind of being my first podcast person or, and we're not going to do a formal podcast. This is like us just having a yarn because actually that's how coaching goes. That's how it goes in this. It's very real. It's very down to earth. There's no posh extras. It's just like, let's get on. Hey.
Oh, and if there's something we're good at, Sally, it's chatting, yapping.
Yeah, well, we're both quite good at that, which is awesome. So we're like, so Margot, tell people, actually just tell people where you tell me actually where you
Oh,
are now. Where are you now? What's happening in your life? And then we'll do a little bit of a kind of rewind. But
where
right,
was I? Okay.
where are you? What's happening?
Sorry, I'm a bit sick. I had my graduation last weekend. I'm still nursing kind of like a very delayed hangover, but we'll move with that. So if my voice is a bit croaky, guys, just bear with. Um, where am I now? I'm in Gore in Southland, which no, if we get back to we never would have saw coming. And I'm working for Balance Agri Nutrients. And as of yesterday, I've been offered a full time permanent position. And yeah, I know I've been saving to tell you, Sally. So I've been on the graduate program for 3 months, and I've been through some processes to get to jobs, but this is one that I've landed. I'm so excited because since being in Southland, I've realised it's literally pretty much a second home. I've joined sports teams, I've made so many friends, and here I am about to be people's rep for the next 4 to 5 years.
Oh, yeah, oh, Red, that's my girl. Actually, not my
What can
girl.
I say?
That's like perfect for your who you are, how you run in your lane. That's like a win-win for everyone. Wow. And actually, I worked out Will was in Balclutha and his girlfriend used to drive from there through Gore to get to Invercargill to go to SIT.
Far out.
Yeah, that was only last year. So he moved back to the Bay. But anyway, that's just like a total. I was like, how far's Gore from you, Will? Was it near where you were? He said, yeah, Mum, it was just up the road. Oh, okay. So I know where Margot is, kind of, like because my geography's appalling and my sense of direction's not much better.
And mine's not that good either, which as a like rep does need to be improved. But hey, it's a weakness and I'm self-aware, but we're gonna get better at it.
You know what? God is our strength in our weakness. So that's gold. Because you know what? 800, God, He'll sort it out for you. And you know what? We even get God, whatever it is, GPS. It's like that helps us. I think it's a God protection system for me to
Yeah.
actually get to where I need to get to. Otherwise, I would be somewhere completely different. So you know what? You've even got that sat nav stuff to help you. Brilliant.
No, it's so cool. I'm pretty stoked with my life at the moment. So I've got the most amazing friends around me. People that I've met in Gore, but also from uni, and awesome family. Like everything, it's just literally a 180 from where I was.
And when I think about it, you've got so family, good friends, sport, you've just talked about. You've just landed your dream job. What the heck? And I love the fact that you've only been on the graduate program for 3 months. Like, I've just, because I remember you writing down I was going to be in the top 3% of graduates and I'm going to land the best graduate job. Holy moly, done. And you didn't even do like a whole year. You've done 3 months and then you've got this incredible opportunity.
I know, and it's definitely one of those ones where I'm just gonna have to grab it with both horns and go for it, and that's me to a T. So it's gonna be full tit, but I'm so excited.
And it's you'll just run with it because that's who you've always been. But you didn't probably know that right at the beginning. Well, first, before we go back, I'm going to take a moment to go, yay, go, like, you got to celebrate these moments. Got to celebrate these moments where I often talk about living life by design, not by default. And that's exactly 4 years ago, you wrote down, this is what I'm going to do. And now you're here. Like,
It, yeah. It, when I was writing, truth be told, when I was writing those things down 4 years ago, I was kind of like, oh, all right, like that'd be cool, but I doubt it will ever happen. But here we are, and I've literally ticked every single one off, which is just crazy to me.
and most people, we bring it right back to 12 months because most people can't see 4 years ahead or 5 years ahead. So I tend to bring people back to that 12 months. So to be sitting here with you going, yes, we did it, you did it, was like, and I say I had nothing to do with this. You just,
Oh,
no, you just came and you, and again, that's what I love about the work that I do is I give you the frameworks, I give you the keys to happiness. I put those keys in your hands, no good in my hands. It's not my fault in life. And then you were like, brilliant, I've got the keys. Like, you say, take the bull by both horns, like you are like, right, let's run with it. But you've done all the work. You had to study at university. You were the one that had to do it all. And boom, here you are.
who would have thought, really?
Well, actually, I know who thought. God knew. God knew exactly what you were capable of, and you knew exactly what he had already planned for you. And it just happened to be in line with what you already wanted anyway, and what you were brilliant at. That's great.
Oh, cheers, bro.
Cheers, bro. It absolutely is. And the beauty is, this is just the beginning. Like, and that's even nuts. Like, I love this whole, I'm literally doing a workshop this weekend about adventures with God. Because actually, when we go on these adventures, it's brilliant, but it's nuts. It's like, how did this happen? How did I end up here? It's like you
Yeah.
can't explain it, but it's in line with who you are. It's in line with how you've been made, and you're going to be brilliant at it, just like you were with your degree.
Oh, crazy.
Crazy. So I guess we'll do a quick rewind because I caught up with you when you were 17. You were in year 13 at a beautiful local school here, and you were actually ticking all the boxes.
Yeah.
You were ticking boxes in a different way to how you're ticking them now. And so, can you remember why you like what like if because it's so chalk and cheese, it's like what you've got now and what you wanted is what you've got. But what did you not have then? What was it that you came to me for?
I'll give everyone a bit of backstory. So at my school, I was deputy head girl. I was on the board of trustees as a student representative. I was in the first 11 hockey. I I was in the top cricket and touch team. I was the lead in the school musical, and
For that, sorry.
which I auditioned for as a joke, and then somehow um, but and then I started all these initiatives at school. I was the chair of the teen ag club. The list just kind of went on and on. I had excellence endorsed before exams, level 1, 2, and 3. But I was doing all these things that everyone would be like, oh, that's like a successful person. Like that is like year 13 who's going places. But I didn't feel like that. I had zero self confidence, and everything that I was doing wasn't actually for myself. I was ticking boxes because I thought that's what people were meant to do. Like, oh, you're meant to be a prefect if you're going to go far, and you're meant to be like I gave everything to a top sports team that actually pulled me back a whole heap. Um, Later on in life, I ended up having 10 concussions and a brain bleed. Whereas if I'd, taken it a bit easier instead of giving my life to that, there's a lot of things that I was just doing stuff for other people, and I was a people pleaser. I didn't have the most steady friendships. I was constantly worried about what other people thought of me and doing what was right by other people, not what was right by Margot. And I think that's probably the biggest shift is that everything I do now is stuff that I want to, not that I didn't want to do the stuff when I was at school, but I wasn't just doing it because I wanted to.
Yeah.
There was an underlying reason as to why I was doing stuff. Like, oh, this will be good on a scholarship application. But now everything I do, it's solely because I want to do that. I'm excited to do it, and it brings me joy. And my friends, I've just got these most amazing friends by being myself, like not being the kind of caged individual I was to kind of fit the mold of my school. It sounds terrible, but I was condensing myself, and then I went to uni. I kind of did the same thing for about a year and a half because you're just so worried about making new friends. And then I can't remember how it happened. Something happened, and I just suddenly unapologetically became myself. And that's when like an event happened, and then I became unapologetically myself, and I attracted the most amazing friends. And they're still my best friends today. They're so driven, so passionate, so fun, so smart, and like we all love each other for each other. And there's no sense of competition. There's doesn't matter if I'm not hanging out with you like today, like hang out with whoever you want. Like we're always going to be friends, which wasn't the case when I was at school. I was constantly trying to please other people, and now I just please myself. So I think that's the biggest shift.
Yeah, and I mean, some people listening to this will go, "Oh, she's really selfish," didn't it? You know, like all that. But actually, what happened is you became selfless. So you were people pleasing and ticking the boxes to make you feel better because you wanted to belong, you wanted to be accepted, you wanted friends. So you were doing it for yourself. You were doing it externally, but for yourself because you were trying to fill the empty hole
Yeah,
in Margot.
I
And
was doing it a lot for approval,
yeah,
and
and
um,
you liked
that's
and
actually
to be
more
popular.
selfish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So your what's happened is your heart has changed.
yeah,
Heart, because your heart changed, it informed your head, and so your thinking has changed. And when you change the way they see you, world you see changes. But I love it. And I remember actually that phone call at uni because you gave me a buzz. You went, "Oh, so I've got a bit of a hiccup." You know, like this is the scenario that's going on. I'm like, remember, remember what we talked about. Remember when, because you ended your time at that school really strongly. You ended that time at school being focused, leading by example, being who you were called to be. And you'd shared a lot of that people pleasing, whatever. And yeah, you'd gone to a new environment at uni and you'd just fallen back into some old patterns. But all it took was that was the beauty. It just took one conversation and you went, "Oh, yeah, that's right. That's it." Boom. And then you ran with it. You just needed someone to just help you just look in the other
like
direction. You
a little pivot, put my blinkers back on,
yeah,
and
that was
yeah,
all it was. And I remember that. I just remember having that chat with you. And I'm like, and I was so pleased that you rang. Like, you know, when I work with people, I put my heart and soul into what I do. And I love you. Like, there isn't one client I don't love to the ends of the earth and back. And so, you know, the worst thing for me would be if somebody doesn't pick up the phone. Or if somebody thinks, "Oh my goodness, I haven't done this," no one cares. Just get moving. Just be who you're called to be, you know,
yeah.
just keep going. And of course, we're all going to have hiccups. It's interesting. I was going to ask you the four life questions. So love, but you've already answered that. It's like, what would what do you love now about your life that you weren't so enamored with then? And you've already answered that. It's like the friends, it's you running in your lane with others running in their lane. And I think,
It's the freedom to be me.
oh,
Like it's actually changed my life completely. I used to, yeah, I had no freedom. I felt I was constantly in a cage of what I should be.
mm,
And that's my whole mindset at the time was like, this is what you should be doing. It was never, this is what I want to do.
yeah.
And I think that mindset change has changed my life.
Yeah, you've gone from I have to do this to I get to do this. You,
Exactly.
you're choosing and you're intentionally choosing what you do. As you say,
Mm,
you've got your blinkers on, you know what your lane is. And so instead of going, oh, do I do this? Don't I do that? Or, oh, that would make mum and dad happy. And I know mum and dad I have been happy with you all the way through because you're amazing. But it's just that, yeah, it's like, actually, no, is this going to bring me joy? And the thing is, when it brings you joy, it brings joy to everyone around you.
yeah. And that's something I didn't realize at the time back when I was 17 is that I just thought if I collected every achievement that anyone could ever want, of course everyone was going to be happy for me. Of course everyone was going to be proud of me. But it wasn't actually filling me up at all. And getting this job in Southland, graduating last week and introducing my parents to some of my friends that I met at my 21st, but my friends' parents and my dad and one of my friends' dads, I kid you not, they're soulmates. Like they sat over cocktails and had the like locked eyes and just were talking about kale for like 20 minutes. I was like, Sam has found his person. Everyone else around was like, all right, go on, you two. But Win and Sam were on and on about kale. Um, and my parents getting to meet these cool as people and see me walk that stage. I've never seen them that proud. And then this week, I've been so proud about how much I've put myself into Gore and how it probably wasn't a hand that I wanted, but I've taken every opportunity with it, and it's actually been the hand that I needed,
Yeah.
and it's where I'm meant to be, and it's where my story was meant to go. And by taking the bull with both horns, I've already learned so much, and that they were so over the moon when I told them I got that job. Because I think if I was still in my same pattern of 17 and doing what I thought I was meant to do, I wouldn't have applied for the Southland job. I would have waited for a job to come up in Hawke's Bay, which could have been forever. And
Mm.
I would have waited and waited and waited and waited just to be close to everyone I know or everyone that was worth knowing. But instead, by taking that leap and being down here, I've actually bounded so far in my life.
It's just, I can't wait to see your mum and dad. I just can't wait to see them. And I haven't caught up with mum for a while, so I think we're due a glass of wine. But it's like this, and you know what I love is that this is exactly what happens to people. They don't deal with their stuff. They're unhappy and they try and use everything external. They try and prove themselves. They try and get all the accolades. But what happens is they wait. So that wait for you would have been it's a brick wall. It stops people moving. And so they don't move out of Hawke's Bay. They stay in this clique or in this space and they don't grow. And you've gone to Goa and your people are already there. Like
It,
next level.
if you told me 3 months ago that I would be moving to Gore permanently and I'd be loving it, I would have like physically like spat out water and laughed in your face. Um, but here I am, and it just feels so right. Like I got offered the job yesterday, and there wasn't a single bone in my body that said no. Everything just went, this is where you're meant to be. These are the people you're meant to be around. And that's just, it's exactly how I felt when, you remember the story when I was 17, I was deciding where I was going to uni. That was the other thing, is a lot of people were telling me at school that because I was doing so well, that I was selling myself short by going into agriculture. And that was a key reason as to why I came to you, because I was in this big tizzy. I'd always wanted to go into ag, but suddenly I had a lot of external people telling me that I should be doing something else because smart people don't go into agriculture, which is the biggest crock of ever. Um, so if anyone's ever telling you guys that, like, genuinely slap them. They don't deserve to say that. So I was looking between Lincoln and Otago, and at Otago I was going to do law with a Bachelor of Science majoring in agricultural innovation. So still going to have a little bit of ag, but I was going to focus more on law. and do the law thing, because that's what girls who went to my school do, is they go and become lawyers or doctors. So I went to the open day at Otago, and it was a really cool university. I could see myself there. And I was like, this is really sick. Then a day later, I went to the Lincoln open day, and I walked in, and it was, again, chalk and cheese. I was actually, this is where I'm meant to be. Then I was applying for scholarships at both, and halls at both Lincoln and Otago. And at Otago, my e-vision portal locked me out. It wouldn't let me log back in.
Hmm.
And I just was like, that is a sign. That is a big flashing sign that, nah, that's not where you're meant to be. And I went to Lincoln, never looked back, and it is the best decision I've ever made in my life. I, yeah, so
That is
kind
so
of a
great.
long-winded thing to say, but
But it's brilliant because you were like, yeah, yeah, I can see myself here. But you walk. I remember Mum taking you because it was kind of we're still coaching at the time, I think, and you were like, well, do I go here? Do I? And you walked into Lincoln and you went, I'm home. You just
mm,
had this sense of this is where I'm meant to be. This was going to be your home for the next 3 or 4 years. And there's a real difference. And so that was the difference between performance and being where you were actually called to be. And I love the fact God makes me laugh so much. Like we'll just shut down a portal because then actually she
yeah.
can fly anyway. Like
And I was talking to everyone else, and I was like, "Is yours working?" They're like, "Yeah, mine's working fine." I was like, "Okay, I see what you're doing here."
it is like there's too many coincidences or things that like, how does that happen? That's weird. Like that's not
Yeah,
else's portals are working. So why isn't mine? Like anyway, that's just I get so excited because he's like, just listen to me, just watch. I'm sending you in the right direction. This is good for you. And actually, Will loved his time down south. He's come home, but he's loved his time down south. It's beautiful there.
it's so cool.
Whew. So, actually, all the questions I was going to ask you about love, sorted that. Like, you're loving what you're doing, you're in your lane. Insight, well, what's different now, or what are the tool? Actually, what were the tools from the course? It's quite interesting because you've given us some insights and like how you think differently, how your heart has changed. You've shown us, like, you've been very clear. But
Let me show you.
oh, look, I love this. It's like we're just like chatting here.
So, I don't know if you remember this, Sally, but 4 years ago, you put a daily reminder in my phone to come through at 7:05 every morning, and because all the things I was struggling with, it says, I believe I'm caring, generous, kind, and considerate, and those people who have value really like me. I will have the freedom to be me, live my life how I'm made to be. I can have fun. And 4 years later, that still comes up every single morning. And I look at it and I tick it off. And depending on what I'm going through, I make myself other reminders like that, but they come and go. That one's remained consistent. And yeah, I now do have the freedom to be me. It's That's probably the tool that I've taken away mostly is that pops up every single morning.
I go, wow. Isn't it? It's fat and like, and then when I think about because that we do that in session 6, and we do that before we do the Smurty goal, which is literally writing out stuff as if it had already happened. So you're living it, but just that one little thing. And it's interesting that one little thing for different people is what opens the big doors of opportunity, is what allows you. So you just declaring who you are. That's so beautiful. An engagement, like how has it helped you with your personal and professional, relationships? You've already answered that question
Yeah,
because,
I've
yeah.
had the got the best relationships I've ever had in my life.
Mm,
And it's also given me freedom to, well, the ability to notice when it's not right as well,
yeah.
when the freedom isn't there. And I now have the ability to notice when I am falling back into those patterns and kind of bring myself back above that line. And 4 years ago, I can still people please, but 4 years ago, I wouldn't have said, no, I need to leave this behind me. And now I'm in the space mentally, physically, and emotionally that I can say, actually, I love you so much as a person and blah, blah, blah. But in terms of where I'm going, I can't do this and be my best self and offer you my best self. So I think that's one of the most freeing things too, is it's helped me identify who should be in my life and not. Yeah.
You know what? We are the sum of the people we hang around with. We really are. And so, and it's so lovely. I've met a gorgeous girl called Ella who looks after my social media. She's like 19 and she's got the wisdom of a 90-year-old, but she's fun, she's vibrant, she's on fire. We interviewed her in the radio show, so she's coming on in a couple of weeks. But I was like, whoa, who is this gorgeous girl that we are interviewing? Just like fire. And you are in that same space. You now have the wisdom and insight of 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 adults, grannies, way belong your. And I'm not saying you're a granny, obviously.
Hey, I'm 21 now. I get that, Sally. I get that.
Like 21, you see, you're just starting. It's just like nuts. I love it. 21, got a degree, got a graduate course, got a like, just next level. But and you know what? There's some people in their 40s or 50s or 60s who are not living their lives the way that they're meant to be, who are not running in the lane, who've actually ticked all the boxes because that's what they thought they had to do. And so celebrating you for being well ahead of the game and you know what, carving your path and doing it your way. And I love it because one of the things I remember was when we are trying to people please. Now you will still honor others. There's a difference. People pleasers do it because they want people to like them. And you wanted people to like you. Of course, you want people to like you. I want people to like me too, just quietly.
Yeah.
Lots of people who don't like me, and that's fine because I'm not for everybody, and that's okay. But the difference is that now you're doing it to honor others. So it's a together thing. It's not, you're equally yoked. And just like you've said with your friends now, they are people that you really like and you honor. And sometimes you see each other and sometimes you don't. And oh, hey, I've just got this really random thing I need to sort out, and they're there, and then you don't see them for a couple of weeks.
It's a lot more of a two-way street now. And I think that's the biggest difference is for so many years I was people pleasing on a one-sided relationship. I was doing things to be liked, but never not not that relationships should be transactional, but I was never getting any support back. And that's not how you should be living your life. You shouldn't be living your life for people who don't actually want a bar from you when you need it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it is the whole honouring people. I'm now giving people the time of day and they're giving it back. And I think it just shows that I'm around the right people.
And it also shows that you've shifted. You need to go and look at Maslow's triangle of or thingy hierarchy of needs. It's nuts. But you are in that. So you are in when relationships are equal or they're equally yoked, they're transformative. So you've gone from transactional to transformative. And it's a win-win because you're always in your relationships, everyone is building each other up, everyone is blowing wind into each other's sails. And that's how life should be. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, is there anything else? Like, is there anything else you want to share about the difference, perhaps in your health and well-being? I think it's hilarious that you're full of cold post having a good graduation. I think that's
Yeah,
fantastic.
no, it was. There's a lot of stories there, but we can get into that another time.
Yeah, maybe not ones to share on a podcast. Love it. I love it. But is there anything that you want to share about your over, like what did the course do for your overall health and well-being? And I know we've covered that in a way, but what would it be? Like the outcomes in life now, how's it changed?
So there are a few things. I'm happy. that's probably the main thing, is that I love my life now. And I don't think I would have got to the point where I am now if it hadn't been for that course, just to open my eye up and to have Sally as a rock and 0800 Sally, you know, when anything kind of went tits up, I could always lean on you. But also, even if I wasn't calling you, the roadmap has just always been in the back of my mind that we made, and I can't remember what session. And sometimes I'm like, oh, and bring me back on. Um, yeah, and just the whole thing of that reminder every day, reminding me about who I actually want to hang around, has helped insanely. It's probably my happiness, and from once you learn to love yourself,
Mm.
the rest of your life is a piece of piss. Really, like, excuse my language. It's so much easier once you love yourself. And I just thought that was something that a lot of, like, people said, like, oh, good on you. Like, I'm sure I'll find that one day. It's actually crazy how once you have just an ounce of self love, how your life can change. A year and a half ago now, I was working in Gisborne, and so I'd already had 9 concussions, and oh, 8 concussions, and I was picking up a yo and the Rousey, oh, not the Rousey, the sheepo from a coaching trailer, pushed up, and the sheep went into my face, fell back against a rail, got concussed, but I kept working for the rest of the day because if you know me, I love work and I don't want to let anyone down. And that's not me people pleasing. That is more an internal thing. Is that I will work to the bone just to get the job done. And then that night, I was at dinner with my boss. There's a whole heap of people there. It was busy as time on the farm. My boss's wife goes, Margot, you don't look like yourself. Anyway, I go to Gisborne Hospital. Turns out I have I've been admitted for a brain bleed. I didn't properly have it, but I was having stuff like a brain bleed. So I was there overnight in the morning, then got discharged. I should have gone home. I should have rested, but I didn't. I I fell back into my old pattern and I worked 12-hour days for the next 5 weeks. Now, that really did backfire on me because I came back to uni and I couldn't concentrate. It would get, even when I was working on farm, it would get to 1 o'clock and my eyes, like the light behind my eyes would go white and I couldn't see. And I've actually properly lost vision in my left eye now. It's almost all gone. I almost didn't get my job because of it. I almost failed my medical. And so I got admitted by the uni doctor to the Laura Ferguson Brain Injury Trust. And they're doing a bit of research on me because there's not much research on females with concussion. I had a speech and language pathologist because I wasn't able to form sentences properly, and I'd lost a whole heap of my memory and had to regain it back, and just hurdle after hurdle after hurdle, all because I didn't take that time to think. Because I just want people to know that it's not a straight path. Like, it just doesn't happen overnight. And as I was kind of learning I was still at uni and my friends didn't know because I'm quite a proud person and I didn't want to be that sinking ship going, hello, like I'm drowning over here. So I didn't really tell many people that I was going to these appointments. I was just going, getting it done, ticking off a box. Bob's your uncle. But I shouldn't have been doing that, really. I should have asked for more help. I was offered leniency from the university for my grades. I didn't take it. I refused to take it. I didn't want to be treated differently. And I should have, but I'm actually glad I didn't because it made me so much more efficient as a person. It made me go, is this really adding value to my time? Yeah, it made my prioritization insane. It allowed me to take time to stop and smell the roses. Because if I'd done that in the first place, I wouldn't have been where I ended up.
Yeah.
If I'd pulled myself back,
Yeah.
life would have been a breeze. And I think that's where the biggest shift happened is when from falling back into my same patterns, I could have lost my life really. And I could have lost everything that I'd ever worked for because I was so focused on going forward. I didn't take time to stop now. And I think reflecting back on our roadmap and all the stuff that I had learnt and all the good stuff that had happened, it made me realize I couldn't keep living life the way I was. And I think that was probably the biggest turning point for me now. And now I'm cleared. I'm allowed to play sport again, which was a big thing. Um, I don't know how hardcore I should be going because if I get hit in the head, it could be a bit ropey. But yeah, I think that was probably the biggest part for me. I ran a half marathon 2 weeks ago. Um, so there's a lot of active active stuff that I'm doing to stop me from working too hard and working my brain too hard. And I now have boundaries. And I think that's probably one of the things that's helped with my happiness is learning to set boundaries. Yeah.
That's a lot. And I have a gorgeous daughter who, if she hits her head again, we're going to have big trouble. So I can relate to kind of some of what you've gone through. And she's also driven like you. And I think it's finding that balance between I'm going to do what I said I was going to do because that integrity, you have it, and Belle does too. It's that if I've committed to something, I'm going to see it through, but not. So yes, and I see it and I get it,
But
but
not at the extent of yourself.
not at the cost of your own health and well-being. And you've learned that now. Like you've learned actually doing those 12-hour days or getting to X and me not being able to see or not being able to do whatever, that's not a sensible decision. But you thank God you've had the rehabilitation, you've had the right people, you've had you've worked through what you've needed to work through, and you've had the right people around you. But it is, thank you for sharing that message. It's a kind of bonus to what we were
Yeah.
here because the reality is that so many, and I know my gorgeous daughter, I'm going to make her watch this, whether she wants or not. I'll be really pleased about that. She's like, Mum,
Oh, hi,
seriously.
Annabelle. Hope you're
Yeah.
enjoying it.
It's because I know that she will push hard because she's a high achiever like you are, but it's an internal thing. You are driven. You're driven to make a difference. You're driven, you're inspired by what you do, and you want to do well because actually it's your love, it's your passion. And I can just so picture you. And it's part of a team too. And you don't let the team, like you guys do not let the team down. You've had enough team players that have let you down. You're like, I am not going to be that person.
And I wish I realized it at the time. By me continuing to work, I was actually letting the team down anyway, because I wasn't working to my full potential. I was slowing everyone down. Not that you could tell, I was still doing the job, I was still doing it fine, but not as well as I had been doing. And I was actually slowing the process down. And I was hurting myself, which in turn hurt the team. And then it hurt my uni team. And by not telling anyone when I was at uni too, it hurt my relationships with my friends because I wasn't game enough to say, like, oh, I'm going through this. But yeah, it's just kind of learning to ask for help, which is a big thing.
That's the
Where my
hardest,
boundaries are.
it's the hardest question
And
any human being
yeah.
has. Is to ask
What
for
was
help.
that?
Hardest question that any human being asks, the
Yeah.
hardest word that we struggle with. Help.
it's quite funny in my job interview at the beginning of the week. I put that as one of my work ons, is that to asking for help is a big thing for me. And it's quite funny. What I had one of my references who's one of the people who leads the intern program, and the manager rings up the intern lady, and Lucy goes, "Ah, I wouldn't say asking for help is one of Margot's weaknesses at all. I think she does it really, really well." And he asked me about it. I said, "Oh, I think I've definitely gotten better at it, but that's only because there's been so much that has led me to this point, and it's still a work on because I know I could be better at that." So yeah, thanks Sally, and I guess thanks Brain Bleeds for getting us to this point.
Yeah, but you know what? Thank you. Thank you, God, that you are fit and well, that you're good to go. That thank you for creating our bodies the way that you do, that we can heal. Like it's, because actually what was horrendous come through the other side, you know?
Mm.
And so, yeah, thank you for that. Well, thank you, Margot. My goodness, there is so much in this. It'll take me forever to unpack it. It is a delight to see you. And what people won't know is actually we're going to press the thank you very much button, and then we're going to look ahead to what's going to be ahead. So I'm really
Oh,
excited about hanging out
gosh,
with Cody in the
this
midst.
is a bit scary, guys.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. So, you know what? It's been done already. Now she's got to look ahead and go, okay, I'm sitting here living my dream. What's
Where
my,
to next?
what's my next dream? What's the next big, fat, hairy, audacious goal that I haven't done yet that is on the radar? So, thank you, listeners, for sitting here and watching this or listening to this. And in another 4 years, we might get back to you about whether this amazing lady has achieved what she's about to achieve this afternoon. I
Okay.
love it. Thank you. Thank you.